Well, LCS week one is almost over. I'm joined right now by Tactical from Team Liquid with coverage brought to you by Alienware to chat about the opening weekend for Team Liquid's new ADC, who has played previously with the team, but maybe first time as a undisputed starter. Tactical, what was it like for you getting ready for Summer Split, knowing that you were going to be starting and playing 100% of the time?
Yeah, so I was getting mentally ready first because I was nervous that I finally have a chance in LCS in the starting position. So I was just getting myself mentally ready. And once we started scrims, which was about a month before LCS summer split started, as weeks went on of scrims, I started to feel more comfortable, way more confident in myself. So a big part was scrims helping me just build my confidence and my skills there.
You've got the leg bounce down. That is a League of Legends pro player uh like signature move, I guess. It's just a leg bounce. I can see it all the way from here.
Yeah.
So okay, so one of the things that's been striking to me is that I feel as though oftentimes LCS rookies come into the scene and they have a bit of a rough start. I would say more often than not, we see pro players somewhat disappointing. But for you, it seems like out the gate you've been doing. Oh, look, it's Jatt. You've been doing quite well. So, what do you attribute the successes you've had? Just at the start. Are you just that good?
I mean, that would be nice if it was, but I think it's just I talk a lot with Core about the game and stuff, and we basically have he just gives me a lot of confidence in myself. Like the way we talk about the game a lot together, so our visions like sync up pretty well. So and we're both pretty confident in what we're doing together. So yeah,
You feel like core has really helped you out.
yeah, I
I
feel
mean,
that way.
it's interesting because I think some people want to say, hey, well, of course their bot lane's doing well. They've got CoreJJ, but the analyst desk was pointing out that you had a great deal of the damage share yesterday in the games and that you did quite well. So, how much of it is core versus your own innate talent?
In terms of my own gameplay, that's just me. But in terms of helping myself mentally, like in terms of confidence, like confidence in what we're doing as a team and like decision making, he helps out in that regard.
Okay. And what has it been like working with Jet? Because obviously, the veteran players might have an opinion on him versus some of their other coaches in the past. But as somebody who's newer to LCS, what has been your experience with him?
So far, the positive has been, the experience has been only positive. I've had, and he seems very like smart about the game. Actually, I was surprised myself because I mean I'd never worked with a caster before, so I was like not sure what their knowledge would be like or how they think about the game. But it's actually pretty good. He looks at everything from like an objective standpoint. So like he doesn't have like bias. He has pretty good knowledge, I say, for not being a player, or I guess maybe he was a player before, but
Yeah.
like recent player nowadays. And I think he has a lot of really good like objective views on the game. It's not like biased at all, based off like his own experiences from the game. I think it's pretty good.
How long have you been competing, even in the amateur scene? Like, when did you first start doing little tournaments and stuff?
I think it's been like I don't remember exactly. It's like been somewhere between 3 or 4 years.
Okay,
I think
so
like more under 4 years. Sorry.
2016, you think is when you started doing that stuff?
Yeah, I think around that time.
And then what was your path like? I mean, when did you start? How did this all happen?
So I was just like a Diamond One Master solo queue player. Then I was just curious about like amateur. So I just like I don't know how, but I just stumbled upon like this organization called Team Exile. And then basically they had like a bunch of teams. There's like A, B, C, D teams. And then I joined one of the teams, and then I just stuck there for bits. But eventually the everything got disbanded. So I kept looking for like other random teams.
And
And
what were
then
you competing in at this time? Because I think part of the reason I asked this question is I feel like a lot of people don't know what it's like below academy. So what is that scene like, and what were you competing in?
I'm trying to remember actually. It was pretty fun for me at least, because it was like first time working with other players, like trying to work as a team. Honestly, I don't remember too much from it right now. I've all I remember is that it was really fun the first few
Okay.
times.
And so then when did you get your big break, you feel like?
Like in terms of like skill and like raising up.
I mean, getting into like you think, oh, maybe this is when I'll be able to actually get into academy or LCS or whatever. I don't know if there was a moment for that.
Hmm. I think in my second or third year of amateur, I was like starting to think I want to like be in academy more. So it wasn't like a sudden moment. It was like a built over time where it's like I think I'm good enough for academy maybe, and then it just slowly went off of that.
Okay. And when did you get into academy?
It was after I got picked up because of the 2017 scouting rounds I went to, and I think I did pretty well there. So I got signed into 2018 academy spring.
Gotcha. And so here you are. There's been so much discussion lately about the state of academy and if academy makes is good enough to get people where they need to be. So what is your kind of take on academy, especially as a player fresh out of it?
So I see a lot of people talking about how an academy just like so many LCS players and it's like a retirement home.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of true because there's just not that many new players coming in like every year. It's like maximum of like maybe like 4 players, I feel like. But it's just also people don't. I think teams don't know like who's doing good in solo queue and stuff like that. Like it's always the players from the orgs themselves, like from the orgs themselves pointing them out, but it's never like the scouts really. I feel
So
like
yeah, you think it's a scouting issue, like teams
yeah.
don't have good scouting and it's really the players that I guess are finding them and saying maybe we should grab this person. How did you get found? I guess through
Through
scouting
scouting grounds.
grounds, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Um
that's like the best way right now too.
yeah. So you ended up there. Do you feel like Academy did a lot of improving? Like I'm curious if Academy is more just like, oh, you're waiting and holding for a spot and just biding your time and hoping that it'll happen, or if you really feel like Academy as a system is leveling up the players that are in it.
So it probably, in my opinion, I think it depends on the player's mindsets. If they have a good mindset, like wanting to improve, they will get better. And but then the going from the like leaping from academy to LCS, being good enough might not just be good enough. Like it might be just like it might like, luck might also be included in this.
Right.
Like maybe a team will does like they like their AD carry. From like in my case, let's say they like their AD carry, so they don't want to get rid of him. So that's like one less team that's like possibly like opening up a spot.
I guess to
So
that point, like when you were on TL and Doublelift was the starter, were you just sitting there like, well, I'm fucked. Hopefully I end up on another
yeah,
team or something.
I didn't join TLA with the intention of like replacing him. It just sort of happened, which is pretty lucky for me. That's why I say like I think luck is part of it
Yeah.
because it was good for me at least.
What was the intention then? Was it just you needed it or something? I mean, how did you end up on this team, especially if the expectation was, how would you ever replace Doublelift, like the star of the league or whatever?
I see. So basically, what happened for me in the offseason was I had to try to look for LCS teams. I was seeing if there were any teams that wanted me, but in the end, there was nobody basically. So I had to find a team, and TLA was my best choice at my time, I think. So I joined them. I wanted to prove myself within the org and gameplay wise on stage.
So right now, would you say, I think a lot of people could look and say like, okay, well, Academy, tactical shows that Academy is a great system. He was there for 2 years, and then he was good enough that like they were able to sub him in, and it became, up in the air on whether or not he should be able to compete with one of the stars in the league. Do you think that that's like a fair assessment? Do you think Academy's working and you're proof of it?
Yeah, I think it worked out for me. Um, yeah, I think it's a pretty fair
I
way
mean,
of
you
saying
seem
that.
you seem to be thinking about it a lot, which maybe it's just because you haven't been asked this question before. But like, part of the reason I ask is there's a lot of mixed reviews on Academy, and I think a lot of criticism. and you're one of the few people I feel like who could really shed some light on what that experience is. So, like, if you think it's great, that's fine. But this is also not like a trick question, you know. Like you could just share, you know, your thoughts on it, maybe the good and the bad.
So you're asking exactly like the
Like, is Academy good? Is it worth it? You know, like is the system gonna produce good talent, and or does it need big
it'll
changes?
I think it'll only produce good talent if the players themselves want to get better.
Okay,
Like I said before, it's like the mindset.
so maybe we need.
Because
Go ahead.
I feel like a lot of players have like stood at their same level, but the very few have like broken through and like outshone the others. Like they just sort of been there.
Would you like to see more churn in the academy system? Like you said, we're not doing a good enough job maybe of scouting, so maybe more
Mhm.
scouting, more players entering.
Honestly, I'm not sure myself what I would change.
Yeah, that's
Because
fine.
honestly, I think it is a pretty hard thing to like.
Yeah, it's not an easy answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, either way, it's been really exciting to see you succeed. Hey, the last question I had, just maybe to stoke the flames of the rivalry a bit. Um, I saw that video that TL put out where you guys were laughing at the things that Devil said about being scared. Maybe what's the story behind that? I mean, did you guys actually find that funny, or was it a situation where like the one up team was like, "Hey, we gotta make a spicy video, start
Yeah,
laughing at this."
so it was someone's recommendation. I'm not sure who, but when we heard it, we're like sort of like weird about it. But then we started thinking about it and thought like, oh, maybe it's not bad actually, because it's like a funny small banter kind of
Yeah.
thing. So it was idea from someone, but we also like we're fine with the idea of like laughing and double it and stuff.
And I mean, in general, were you laughing at Double? Did you feel like that video was dramatic or whatever? Or
Nah, I personally I think it wasn't that dramatic. I didn't really feel that much impact.
okay,
But yeah.
it was just a thing, and then
Yeah, it's
it's
just a
like, here's a
thing.
funny video. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
exactly.
sense. Well, is there anything you want to say to any of the League of Legends fans out there, especially the ones that are maybe being like, "Oh, hey, maybe this tactical kid's got some runway on the LCS."
Yeah, so just keep watching TL. Just I think we're really gonna smurf for the split, so just keep watching us. I will also smurf the splits. Pretty confident in that. And yeah, I think that's all I got.
Well, looking forward to it. I like the beginnings, the seeds of trash talk, the confidence here. I will smurf this, but anyway, thank you so much, Tactical, for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Hello. It has been an interesting quarantine, but I've got to tell you, I'm very happy that I've got Alienware to provide me with an amazing computer so that I could just play games endlessly while being stuck in my apartment. Thank you to them and DraftBuff for sponsoring this video. But I gotta say, go check out alienware.com/Travis. There's a link in the description below, and use Travis 10 off Q2. That's right, we added Q2 at the end of it just to make sure you're still paying attention. They've got some amazing stuff over there. They've newly refreshed a bunch of their hardware, and I've been using some of it recently, and it's been fantastic. So thanks so much to Alienware for sponsoring everything I do, especially as I don't know, things are a little wild right now, right? There's no events to go to, so I appreciate them sticking around. Thanks.